Hello, welcome to the reading today, everybody. So today we're doing a slightly different reading to what I would normally do. It's usually pretty open. This will be still, of course, open. It is going to be, though, more channeled or more directed energy from Lady Nada. Now, if you don't know who Lady Nada is, feel free to go online and look her up. I'll only give you a little quick brief description about her, and there's a lot of different interpretations of her energy. Sometimes it's intergalactic, but majority of it is around the Atlantean time period. Talks about her being like a high priestess or some kind of support at that time. However long that was, right? And whatever dimensional space that actually took place in. But I've worked with her energy for probably a few years since, connecting or waking up to this kind of spirit or spirituality in general. And she's always been focused in on the heart center, as you can probably see already by these cards. The higher heart, which is usually a pinky color if you look at the chakras, compared to the heart chakra, which is usually showing as green, but still in that vicinity around who we truly are and how we can express and show our inner light, let's say, in whatever ways that is. She also focuses on healing and practicing your spiritual gifts. So I'll introduce you to the cards and I'll read what's on them. But for pile number 1, we've got the Lady Nada card from, which deck is this one? This is from the Keepers of the Light, and this is Heart Awakening. It says here, awaken to acceptance and divine love, give and receive in balance. For pile number 2, this deck is the Goddess Among Us, or Goddesses Among Us. And the Lady Nada card here says Divine Service, Light Work, and Highest Heart. And for pile number 3, this Lady Nada card is from the Masters, what is it called? Divine Masters Oracle. And this one says, expanded heart, openness, liberation, let yourself love and be loved. Okay, and so I also grabbed this a rose quartz point. I thought that was really apt, and that'll be here, sitting here for the remainder of all readings. Okay, so these are the 3 piles. Connect with your intuition and see which one's called to you. You might want to look at all of them if you're interested in seeing what Lady Nada has to say for everyone in the collective. This is an open reading, so take what resonates, leaves what doesn't. Other than that, I'll give you a couple of seconds to pick whichever one calls to you. Otherwise, pause the video and I'll see you in your reading. Also, sorry, just before I go, down below in the description, you'll find the timestamp so you can jump straight to your video. Hello, welcome to your reading, pile number 1. So you've chosen the version of Lady Nada, which is Heart Awakening. This says here, awakens to acceptance and divine love, give and receive in balance. Now, when I was shuffling this, I was like, oh, this is, Lady Nada is always depicted as like peaceful, loving, caring, and that's essentially what her energy is, this like light energy, but she doesn't mince words, and she, you know, if she needs to call you out, she's gonna call you out. So this could be that version of her. And it does say give and receive in balance. So, you know, in a loving way, she'll call you out if you are giving too much of yourself to someone, or your energy is too much into this, that, or the other, and needs to be pulled back and supported to yourself. So it's loving, right? It's in a loving way, but she's going to point it out. So just so you know, she's not going to mince words. And if you need to do something, she will point it out. And you know it. If you're lying to yourself, she'll point it out, right? You know, she keeps it real, this version. And that's how it kind of felt when I was shuffling the cards before this particular pile. Okay, let's grab some cards. An interesting mix of cards today. There was a lot of cards that really wanted to come through, because I feel like they're going to have the heart of her energy in them. Because a lot of the cards in Oracle and Tarot, right, do have a lot of loving, healing, heartfelt cards. So it's not surprising as well. This is going to be her message to you. So take what resonates, as always, leave what doesn't. Say it all the time. But no pile is going to be something that you have to change your life for. It's to help you make decisions in your life. Whoa, okay. This one landed on her face. So we'll see what that one is in time. And I've got some little tarot because I wanted to put as many oracle cards down as would fit, while leaving some space for the tarot. So I got the little mini ones. Okay. Well, there you go. You know, I told you to go and call it out. You got Destroyer. In the light, it says releasing what is potentially destructive, preparing for new life. Try not to giggle. But it's just funny when it's like, oh, you're coming through with a bit of like spice, right? And then bam, Destroyer. In the shadow, it says intoxication with destructive power, destroying others' dreams or potential. And when we start to be like judgy or critical of someone else, right, because they might look very particular, right? They might look really wacky, or they might look really attractive, or they might be really ugly, you know, whatever. Or it could be just like, this person got this and I didn't, so I'm just going to hate on them, right? All that kind of stuff, that's where it's intoxication to dragging people down. This could be even towards ourselves, like keeping ourselves small. And none of what Nada is saying in this reading is going to be anything to keep yourself small or little. This is to allow yourself, be kind enough to yourself to allow yourself to be real, true you. Let that realness come through. And it doesn't have to be in a way that's like sassy and attacky, right? It's more in a way that's just authentic. Your authenticity is really important with this reading. Who are you? Abundance. Yeah, once these flowers bloom, especially right next to her, like you are this flower, and when it blooms, that's when you live your life freely and fully. And that's when you start to see the blessings of who you are. Once you let go, like release that having to be this way for someone, like your parents, or expectations from a partner or something like that, or expectations from society because of your gender, because of your sexuality, because of your identity, right? All that. This is to like wash all that away, and like, who would you be without any limitations? Love yourself. Look at all these flowers. I mean, even this, it's not a flower, but just like it's letting go, right? It's blooming. It's not holding itself back. There's like a tall poppy syndrome thing in Australia where the tall poppy gets cut down. And so, you know, stay in your lane type thing. And that's like a really old saying that's just caught on because people that stand out get cut down. And so people will just kind of become more uniform, right? Less self-expressive and more expected or more traditional or more whatever. And like that's bullshit, right? So this is like blooming out of that, getting out of letting yourself just be you. Let it out and let it flow. It might feel like a big burst at first and it'll be really rocky, but whatever this is, it's just allow yourself to be you. That's it. That's how you can connect with the source energy, with God, whatever you believe in. That's what this is. That's what love really is. It's authentic. It's so many things, right? It's a thing that propels us through life, helps us move towards the next thing or the next experience or the next goal or the next whatever, the next people that we're going to meet. That's what it is. It's that motivational energy. Okay, gonna move the little crystal out of the way. Oh, of course, this is the pile. Pile number one, this is the pile. Because I talked about at the start, she comes through with Atlantis, right? And there was a little affirmation or I guess mantra that came through, and I was listening to it, and it was about a Lady Nada kind of energy, and it was I accept. What was it? I accept, and will practice. What was it? I accept my. It's pretty much. I'll just say it how I think it was said. It's like I accept my abilities and will practice my spiritual healing and something else energy. I can't remember exactly, but it was like something like that. It's like I accept who I am and I will allow myself to be who I am, basically, with whether that's through healing and helping others, whether it's through healing, helping myself. I feel like you're a much better healer if you can heal and help yourself. Not to perfection, but to a point where you have the skills and ability to help explain what you've been through or understand what other people go through without making it about yourself, right? It's about that kind of thing. And that's where this is coming in, like balance, right? It's balance. The internal and the external need to be in harmony. Anyway, memories of Atlantis, spiritual acceleration, progress in technology. Yeah, you're on a fast track. Boom, boom, spiritually. Your gifts might be coming through in very different ways. Personally, I've noticed that with myself. Some of my gifts changed over the years, and then now they're starting to kind of loop back a little bit in a different way. But I'm going, and it's like playing a game, right? You go back to level 1, but with all the stuff you've got, so it's like it's easy. It's like more smooth, and the things that would trouble you, the bosses, the fights, the kind of like leaps and jumps you need to do. You've got it down pat. You know how to do it because these memories are coming back. So transferring it to this message could be like you were in this space, maybe even with her, maybe you knew her in a past life, right? And probably different incarnations that she's had. Who knows? And you're starting to remember your abilities in whatever way that works for you, whether it's like starseed type stuff, whether it is Atlantis, or whether it is like the really deep human earthy stuff here that will help you in this world. So it's all coming through. You also have, well, speaking of starseed stuff, you got Lemurian seed codes, which is a little different, right? Sometimes Lemurian seen as like the feminine, separated from Atlantis, which was the masculine, and that was like two very separate societies. Now it's more integrated. It doesn't mean it's balanced, but it's more integrated than that expectation, that kind of like past thing. Just in case if that makes sense. But Lemurian seed codes is like embracing sensitivity, uniqueness, living with grace. These do feel like the masculine and the feminine energies combining in some way. So I feel like she is just coming through with like, this is coming through. It says here, embracing sensitivity, uniqueness. Yeah, being you. Being you is the most important thing. If you're going to take anything away from this, it's like being you. If you're like, I don't know what that is. You don't need to know exactly who you are, but you'll know what you're drawn to. You'll know what makes you happy. You'll know what gives you life, right? And it's going to be generally something more internal or like peaceful rather than a handbag or a video game or like external, right? Those things will be, they're like more sweets, right? Like it's good, but it's not a meal. Like this is like looking for the best meal, but you have to try different food to understand what is really the most flavorful or like best combination for you. And then with that, you start to go into the kitchen and make something that's completely unique. And that's how this reading feels. Obviously not food, but maybe food, but like, you know, who you are, understanding who you are through those kind of like practice or trials, figuring things out. It's something that evolves through the soul and this particular incarnation, not something that you just get dictated by a book of laws, right? Okay, what else do you want to say, Nada? This is interesting. This is a nice message. Let it go. Yeah, releasing what is potentially destructive. People, places, expectations of self, expectations of others, especially others, right? If we expect people out in our life to be a particular way, I'm going to take them, and they're not, we can be really disappointed and sad because we want them to be this. If they can't be that or won't be that due to bigotry, due to a lack of desire, right? Leave them where they are. You are here to live freely, not to force people into be better people, right? Even parents, you know, and let's say in my mind, they should be loving, supportive, and caring, but if they're not, can't force them to be. And if they refuse to, you're only perpetuating your own suffering. So let it go. Okay, so let's have a look at these cards. You have the Queen of Cups. Love that. Look at this. This is a very spiritual Queen of Cups. Choosing self. This isn't selfish. This is necessary. And when you have chosen self and you're in a place where you can love and support others, that's where you'll be at your best through the hard work that you've done within. Also, it's showing like connecting with Atlantis energy. So maybe you are an Atlantean or have had that kind of like experience or life, or even just an Egyptian, because this is like very similar to that. You have the Nine of Pentacles, being proud, not prideful, because that sounds negative, even though I don't think pride is a negative thing. I think there's a difference between the religious kind of like pride, which is feeling higher or better than others due to who they are, like status, that kind of thing, or wealth, whereas being proud of who you are isn't, and pride in that is completely different, right? There's loving who you are is not prideful. Loving who you are because of the status or the things that you have kind of feels more prideful than the real inner growth. Anywho, Nine of Pentacles, really lovely. This is doing things that you love, right? There's one card that I have where she has like opened up an apothecary. It's not going to be something that makes her like billions of dollars. She's not going to be the most richest woman in the world, right? But it feels like this is where she feels connected with nature, where she feels she can educate people or speak to people or learn from people, learn from the plants, learn from like her witchy ways kind of thing, you know, whatever it is, that earth magic, that's where the real magic is, because she's drawn to it. That doesn't mean it's going to be what you're drawn to. You're going to be drawn to whatever feels right to you. It could be like going out and, I don't know, cleaning up the ocean or like or whatever, you know, it doesn't have to be a particular thing. It's your thing. Speaking of the ocean, the Three of Wands. Yeah, you're ready to make this transition from this bleak kind of, not really bleak, that's not a right word, but I guess not bleak world, but bleak interpretation of this world. The world doesn't necessarily have a good or bad like rating, right? This planet. Until we rate it, and what we rate it is how we see the world or the planet or the person or the video or like whatever. It's really like the way this card wants to come through is like you'll know when it's time to take that step. Doesn't have to be today. You're not being pushed, which is good because she would push you if it was time. She's just reminding you of, or like helping you remember who you are. She's not giving you Like, this is who you are. She's like, you know who you are. And then once you're ready, you take that leap and you go towards that wave. You catch the wave. All right, so what is this last message? So how do you go about this? Let's see how you go about this. You accept what is and isn't. Things you can control and you can't control. Going through the Three of Swords is growth towards, well, it's not really growth towards anything. It's like living, right? The Three of Swords is a very clear imagery, especially here when it's like heartache, things not working. I can't help this person get to where they are. I've led them to water, but they will not drink. How do I get them to drink? This isn't about anybody else. Squash that. Let that go. With love, right? It's not with anger or pissiness. It's with love. And Three of Swords is that acceptance of what's gone or hasn't worked, and that real feeling of how you feel about it. And then you go through the process of releasing in some way. The old system, right, of grief. It's not like a perfect system, but it does have like key points where it makes sense. It makes logical sense as well. Okay. You've got Temperance. Balancing the inner and outer, balancing, who you are on the inside, your spiritual side and earth side. The earth isn't negative. It's a place where you're at right now and you're growing and learning within it. The spirit isn't better or worse. It's spirit. It's just is what it is. Things are what they are. You're here to be in it, not of it, is how it's coming through. Like in it, you're in the world, but you're not of it. You're also of spirit. And you are of spirit, but you're not dead. So this incarnation hasn't finished. So you're here to live and in harmony with your spiritual side and your earthly side is how it's coming through. So figure out how that looks for you. How does your spiritual practices and how does your earthly practices or life fit into this message? There is this idea of releasing, though. These cards are coming through pretty clear. And then the Page of Cups. You will start to see transformations where things you thought would never happen start happening. The sky is like floating up. Pigs flying, right? So there's that saying, yeah, sure, I'll do that. I'll believe that when pigs fly, which is pretty much just saying, I don't believe you. And maybe you don't believe certain things could happen in life, but where we're at to where we were 10 years ago, if I looked at the future, I probably couldn't have guessed that this would be how certain countries are, certain laws are, certain belief systems are. I wouldn't have believed where I am now. I wouldn't have believed like what I do in this world. So you never know. It's going to unfold how it's going to unfold. Go with it. See how it feels, and if it resonates, it resonates. If it doesn't, it doesn't, right? So that's how you start taking the first step, is to know what needs to go, what needs to be released. That releasing helps open your heart space. I'm just going to pull one more card from a different deck. Just want to get I guess an overall message for you. You've got play. You've got follow the fun with this cheeky little one. This is off a video game. This deck. Well, it's off many things, but Zach's created these, and this is his Oracle deck. It's play. This little character is called Baby. Baby's a bit flirty, a bit cheeky, a bit fun. While this is a serious message, it's to help you free yourself, basically, not to be so, well, I'm this age, I should be like this. I'm this gender, I should be like this. People said this to me, so I should probably take that on board. It's like clearing all that out and then looking at it objectively and saying, yeah, this makes sense. I'm going to integrate that. That is bullshit. I'm going to leave that, blah, blah, blah. And also just to enjoy life. The overall message is to just have fun. Follow the fun. There's the idea of following the heart, but also what do you enjoy? It doesn't have to look like how other people have lived their lives. You're unique to you, and you're allowed to live your life as you see fit. But you got to believe it, right? Got to believe it. Okay, well, that is your reading pile number 1. I hope this has really helped. I like this version of Lady Nada. She was the first. This is the first version I saw of her in my mind, and I didn't know who the hell she was, right? I was just like some blonde woman. And then I was getting a reading from someone. They pulled this card in a spiritual message, and I was like, oh, that's the one. I seen her. And then, you know, I found like more about her and looked her up, and yeah, and then we kind of like, I connect with her occasionally throughout the years, and she's come back in a big way very recently. And so I thought, why not share that energy and message with all of you? Okay, well, I hope this really helps. Look after yourself, stay safe, and I'll see you next time, pile number 1. Goodbye. Hello, welcome to your reading pile number 2. So you've chosen this Lady Nada with Divine Service, Light Work, and Highest Heart. This feels like a very casual kind of like depiction of her, right? And I like that because we don't have to wear long flowing dresses and, you know, have like, I don't know, the Tree of Life stamped on her forehead, right? We come in all different shapes and colors, and obviously I don't know anyone that has that stamped on their forehead, but you get what I mean, right? We don't have to look like we're spiritual, because we are spiritual beings, no matter what clothes we wear, or what how we braid our hair, or whatever, you know. It's really how we live truly. That's what's real. That's what's true to us. So this feels like a more real, earthly kind of message from Nada with this one, but we'll see what comes through. I like this depiction of her. She just seems pretty chill. I don't think she'd be mad about wearing booty shorts too. Okay. Actually, I want to grab these ones first. I feel like the message straight away is like, relax, take it easy. That's the kind of message she's bringing through, just without any cards. It's like, you know, you already are enough, so you don't have to prove or be more than you are. Little crystal, she's like, you already are love, right? And peace and success without having to try. It's already your truth. And with that kind of knowing, you don't have to prove anything, then you can just be free, right? You can be completely authentic and free. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I mean, you already are enough, right? That's why I was getting the message. You got the child divine. The light attribute says innocence, purity, and redemption suggests a special connection with the divine. Yeah, you have your own unique way of showing up in this world. And like I said, if everyone's wearing, you know, flowy clothes and, I don't know, tie-dyed, I'm not trying to mock it, right? It's absolutely fine if you love that clothes, but it's like you don't have to look the part. You already are the part because you're here and you're incarnated and you're alive and you're living truthfully through your own actions. That's what it is. Talk is cheap. Actions really shows the person. And the shadow of the divine child is the shadow attribute is an inability to defend oneself against negative forces. So it's almost like, what do you call those? Empath. When an empath is taking on everything because they feel like that's what they should be. They need to do that because they're clearing karma of the past life, or they have to do this because the world is so negative, so they have to keep doing this. You don't have to burn yourself out or literally kill yourself to prove or to be of service, right? Living your life as you are right now is being of service. You know, to interact with anyone in a particular day or anything, just being you and living freely and living your truth is living your high heart, living is living. That's it. That's how it's coming through. Woo, woo, woo. Okay. Oh, this one came out in part 1 too. I feel like this is probably going to come out all the time. But we got a love card. Love that. Gotta love the love card. You know, this is like source energy, right? She really does come through with a lot of like blooming flowers, and so this really makes sense with her blooming. Even here, it feels like the child's like just free to be themselves, right? Sometimes children just do things because that's what feels right. They don't get judged. Like a little boy might spin around or like, you know, say how pretty a girl's dress is or something like that and touch it and want to like talk to the right or something like that, or play with a doll. Or like a girl might want to do, you know, something that's not specifically feminine or whatever. Like they just are authentic until we start, or society starts, or just life starts to put all these borders in. And so this is like just living freely, just without all the BS of like expectations of like girls should look like this, boys should look like that. Like that is old bullshit. So I think that's where this is coming through. Fulfillment. The peach. The big old peach. Fulfillment. Finding fulfillment is going to be a path through understanding the real you. That's where you'll find full fulfillment. Like fulfilling fulfillment. That's where it will be. That's the card. That's it. Through the inner understanding with the moon of like who you truly are. And it could be as simple as just remembering something from childhood that was positive that you have left and want to reintegrate in some way, in a new way, in a unique way. Doesn't have to be the same thing in the old way, but that same feeling, you may have an opportunity to recapture that. Truth. You've got the Temple of Truth. Throat chakra, authenticity, self-expression. Yeah, be you. That's it. You're being called to remember who you are and be you and speak your truth. Live your truth. No one else has to react in a particular way. It'd be nice if everyone's supportive, but no one has to be supportive, right? They will be what they will be because they're where they're at and you're where you are at, and you can lower yourself to meet them there, or you can just, you know, go off on your own journey. Crystal skull. Clarity, divine healing, high vibrational energy. Yeah, this is rising up. Like I said, you go where you need to be. And sometimes people get left behind, and it's not your responsibility to pull them through because they may be exactly where they need to be. You may be where you need to be, and that's okay. Everyone's where they need to be, and some people are really going through the motions, and sometimes you can support and help, but you don't live it. Like you don't need to be that become your responsibility, the person or the feeling or the life, right? This is an understanding of all that. That's where the shadow comes through. You know, inability to defend oneself against negative forces. It's detached from that. If it's coming through the news, detach from the news. You'll figure out what's happening in the world because it's always, you know, the news really does follow on with like a lot of toxic stuff. It recycles it and repeats it. I was in an airport in Qatar, and they had like a TV screen and 4 channels, and it was all news, and it was all bombings and blowing up stuff and war, and all 4 of them. And I was just like, I was looking at it and I was like, this is so toxic. And then I got distracted by, we were in the lounge. This is just like a little side note. We're in the lounge and some Middle Eastern guy came out, and he was quite big and he had towels, but he didn't cover himself fully, and he was just walking around the place near the bar just with a towel on, and it was like, oh, this is funny. That was a good distraction though from the news, but I was just like, some people just act like this space is their private residence, right? I don't know. I thought it was funny, and I think the people wanted to say something, but they didn't, and I assume because maybe he's, I don't know, rich or something. Anyway, side note, I forgot about that. That just reminded me of it. Okay, so let's have a look. What else does Nada want to say to you? It kind of feels like what she wants to remind you. You know, acceleration. Got the 8 of Wands. Time to be very thoughtful with your actions. Be very mindful. The Queen of Swords, I always see her as someone who has lived a very difficult life or struggled with certain things and has become either divorced or widowed. I don't know why it feels like that, but this is just like the theme that's in my head. She's become divorced or widowed, and now she's helping other women, right? She's gone through the challenges of it, and she's like, this is what I've been through. If you're feeling anything like this or being treated like that, you need to speak up and say something about it. And so here she cuts cords with what doesn't resonate, even if they're like wonderful people, but they're just in a place that they refuse to leave, right? Or get out of. You gotta leave them where they are, and you gotta move to the next space because it's time to go. Like it's time to live freely. Okay. Yeah, I think the 9 of Wands kind of speaks to that as well. 9 of Wands is that it's been a struggle, right? And you're so close to the end where it's like just cut the cords and go forward. You don't need to be perpetually stuck or stay in the 9 of Wands unless you choose to. This is all up to you. 9 of Wands is that last ditch effort to complete something. It's like the desire or want to give up as well. This is saying no. Basically, that's it. She's kind of like, no, it's not time to give up. That's not it. Just because it's getting hard or you're very close to the end and you want to save everyone, especially you little empaths out there feeling like you need to be something for everyone else. It's like, no. If you do, you stay in that zone. You stay there. But if you choose to stay there, that's what you have to accept. That's what you've chosen. So feel free to do that, of course, but it's just like the way she comes through is no. Nope. All right, so what do you do with this information? What is the guidance? Give yourself some space and time. You've got the Hermit card to go within to find clarity, right? The purpose of the Hermit going within is to understand and find clarity within. Who am I? What am I? What does love mean to me? Who am I as a divine being? If I had a life where I had no limitations, what would that look like? All that kind of stuff. What do I need to heal, right? She comes through also with healing the heart, healing in general. That could be really important at this time in your life. If it's not, it's not. Take what resonates. All right, what else? This could also just be meditation. I need to pick back up your meditative practices. You've got the 9 of Swords. It's interesting because this is like fear and anxiety. Like, how do I let go of this? You have to give yourself some time. The 9 of Swords is essentially an illusion, right? Remembering that this is all an illusion in a way. This isn't, it's real to us, but it's not all of what we are. This is an aspect of us. It's kind of like when we say, oh yeah, I'm an artist. And it's like, okay, so you get lumped into that and that's it. Well, it's like, well, I'm not just an artist, I'm also a parent, or I'm also like a caregiver, I'm also, I don't know, a scientist or something, or whatever. You know, you're so much more than just this experience. And this doesn't mean that this experience is not important. It's still part of you, but it's not the totality of who you are. And so I feel like that's why the 9 of Swords is coming through. It's to help clear the mind as well. That Hermit energy is to clear the things that are not that important for this time, at this time. Maybe in the future they will be, but at this time, ask yourself if the feelings are important at this time. It's going to be a long process, so this is not a rush job. It's kind of like certain aspects are changing very quickly, and you have an ability to cut cords and ties with things that no longer work. But this is slow energy. You got the 7 of Pentacles. You can see here he's nurturing it, right? You can't rush a seed to grow quickly. I have a garden, and plants are temperamental. They all have their own individual desires and needs and quirks, right? Sometimes. and they want this and they want that, and they don't want this and they don't want that. They don't like this plant and they don't like that kind of thing being too close to them. It's they want more sun, and then it's like too much sun, and they want more water, and it's like too much water. You know, it's like figuring it out. It takes time. It takes time, and that's okay, because that's how we learn, by learning and growing and experiencing. So you have your whole life to live with this card this message coming through. And so one of comprehension, understanding, and truth, or self-expression, is this card's coming through with. That's where you'll find it, and that's where you'll find real fulfillment and understand more of what true love is. I was thinking about this yesterday. Not the understanding what like romance and relationships and love relationships isn't through watching ridiculous TV shows, right, or rom-coms. They're fun, right? They're entertainment, but it's not reality. So when we start to cross over from reality in like fantasy mixed with reality, it's not that. It's not a struggle, is what I'm saying. It's definitely not just a struggle, but it is learning and understanding each other, and communication and growth, right? It's all through experience. And that's where you're at the moment. So to work your light and to be of divine service is to live freely, not to let past lives or past anything dictate how you should live your life. It should come from within, not from outside of yourself. Okay, I'm going to leave that there. I hope this has really helped you. Sit with it and contemplate how you can, make some alterations or changes or cut cords with things that don't serve at this time. Don't have to act on it, just feel it and think about it. How does it feel? Give yourself some good space to even feel the fears or worries and emotions that you may have, because then they're there to tell a story, and you'll be able to tell if it's intuition or if it's ego trying to hold you back, because ego just wants to keep us neutral, safe. We might want to jump out of a airplane because we want to skydive. The ego will be like, but it could crash, this could happen, this could happen. You know what I mean? It's like, but if you don't focus in on that, and it's like, no, but this will open something, this will help with something, then you trust it, and that's the intuition, you go for it. If the intuition is also saying don't do it, then maybe don't do it. But anywho, hope this has helped. If you have any questions, type them down in the comments. Otherwise, take care of yourself, look after each other, and I'll see you in the next reading. Hello, welcome to your message today from Lady Nada. You've chosen this card, pile 3, with expanded heart, openness, liberation, let yourself love and be loved. All right. This is like, I don't know, I feel like she's feeling her oats, or she's really in the zone, right? Or in bliss in this depiction or card. So this is probably going to come through. We'll see what actually comes through, right? But this is just like a reminder to keep going, like keep expanding, keep growing. So let's see what she's coming through to tell you today, pile number 3. Okay. Okay. Okay, got 2. I feel like that one wants to come through. All right, we've got some cards pretty fast. I do give them a good shuffle before each reading, each pile, so they're usually prepared and ready to go, and always have this out so the energy's there. Ooh, the magical child. It's kind of interesting. Another pile had another child card. This one's the magical child, and there's maybe like 2 or 3, I'm not sure, in the deck. But anywho, the light attribute is seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things, the belief that everything is possible. That is a really good place to be. I don't know if it was like ego or what, but it worked and it felt right. But back when I was much younger, I used to tell myself, I can do anything. Anything is possible. I could be this, I could be that. People put limitations on it. I don't think so. I could be anything. I just don't want to be everything. But so what do I want to be? And that helped like get me into a mindset of like what's right. And that was not spiritual. That was just my own kind of like mantra. I guess it was spiritual, right? But I didn't see it that way back then. So the belief that everything is possible keeps everything open. We may try to rigid when we work with spirit to manifest something specific. When you say that I would like to experience, or this beautiful, wouldn't it be great if this experience happened, or something like that? And like just at the end, just say, or something better, something more fulfilling, more that's better than even what I could perceive as being such a little box, right? Something even better. Wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't that be a great experience? It's kind of how this one's feeling. That's where it's expanded, right? Because it's expanded. It's seeing past a perceived limit of the bubble. It's like outside of the box. And in the shadow attribute, it says pessimism, depression, and the disbelief in miracles, believing that energy and action are not required for growth. Energy and action are definitely required, and what better place than Earth, where breathing is energy and action. Like, you know, just living, being alive takes a lot of energy and action. All right, got stars gathering. It says stars, what is it? Yeah, stars align, remembering home and soul family, connecting with your truth. You also have Thoth Light codes, light initiation, great teacher awakens, and divine magic. This is kind of nice, right? This is bringing through those spiritual gifts, remembering where you came from. You have a set of skills that is unlike anything else on this planet, besides probably soul family or kin with star seeds that are alike, but it's unique because you're you, and there's something in here that's popping up. So you might be going through an awakening of some sort, or some kind of like light initiation towards whatever. How it shows in the 3D, it can be so vast, but it could be like a change of space, change of job, change of house, change of lifestyle, introducing going to the gym, starting to garden, you know, hobbies changing, you know, that kind of stuff. That can initiate it, or is like the reason why you're drawn to those things is because you're more open, and you'll think, well, how does that work? I don't know how it works. It's just how it's coming through in this reading. It's not always, you know, sitting on a mountain and meditating for, you know, 8 hours a day. So you've got purify. Yeah, it looks like you're going through some kind of cleanse. There's a reason and purpose for it. It's not a heavy duty kind of energy. This is like a refresher. And then what no doesn't serve is gone, because you start to remember who you truly are and your soul's truth, right? And I think sometimes we pigeonhole ourselves. Again, we identify with a particular starseed, we look it up, and it says we're like this, and this, and this, and it's like, okay, so should I be like that? And it's like, no. It's not telling you who you are. This is just some very vague kind of like ideas that you may resonate or not with, but you're meant to be you. That's meant to help you understand who you are, not tell you who you are. Same with astrology, right? It's, you know who you are. You don't need the astrology to tell you who you are. You can use the astrology as a tool to help guide you, or with certain things, or maybe certain aspects that you have questions with, but it's not telling you how you need to be. You decide that. Forgiveness. Such a big one with forgiveness. It's such a topic where people get really upset about, right, with forgiveness, because they think, I'm not going to forgive this person for what they did because, you know, no matter what, I'll always hold on to it. I mean, if that's working in your life, fine, but most of the time that forgiveness isn't really something that you need to give to someone else. It's an acceptance that what's happened has happened, and I'm no longer going to let it dictate my present. So I'm not going to hold on to this anger towards this person because it's just ruining my life, not theirs, and not that I need to needs to be ruining theirs, right? But it's just ruining my existence. I don't need to hold on to it. I'm going to move forward and let it go because I have a whole bunch of things that I want to do and live my life. I don't need that following me around. So that may come into it as well. But also this at the night, it's kind of like connecting with your soul in some way. Your soul family connects you with your soul. Your gifts connects with your soul. Your inner light opening up and connecting with like the magical part of yourself is where you'll find so much about yourself. You're not going to find it from external factors. They might help you, but they're not going to be the ones that figure it out for you, right? They'll help. So a guru, a priest, or whatever you believe in or go to, right? They are there to, they're the backup character, basically, and you're the character who figures the things out. They are there to support. Okay, what else? I like the Nine of Pentacles. This came out in Power 1 as well, so I mean, if you are interested, you know, check it out. But the Nine of Pentacles, I love this one especially because she's not fancy. Like some of the ones where they look really regal and rich, she's doing what she feels is right. She's kind of setting herself up. She set herself up to get to where she is, and she's celebrating by, you know, living it. There's no point getting to a house like the mansion that you always wanted, but being so scared of losing it that you have like crazy security. You don't put anything in it that's nice. It ends up becoming your tomb, right? So I guess the reason why I'm speaking to it like that is to really just live unabound. Unabound is how it's coming through. We'll see what else comes through before I get too caught up in the 9. Start to create. You've got the Empress card. Trust in the divine feminine energy within you. That is not lesser than any other types of energy. The Empress, birthing, creating. Again, I think I talked about moving, right? That could turn into moving. There's like the globe here in her stomach. Finding what you love, the things that you love, the people that you love and care for. Finding real connections. That could be really important in this life. You know, you might have shut down because of an incident in the past or an event. This could be the reading that helps or reminds you to be open. You don't have to be a doormat. That's not open. That's a doormat. Doormat's doormat. An open door is an open door. This is to be open to opportunities and experiences. There's this like balancing of the spirit and of the physical. That's a theme, these readings. None of these readings are about being more spiritual, being more earthly. This is finding your balance between what that is. Because once you find that, your gifts will come through. You'll understand what is really calling to you, understand guidance towards particular videos to understand more. They're not going to tell you who you are, but they'll help you figure it out of what's maybe not who you are, but like figure what is going to be right in this moment, in this time, in this space in the world as we are in. Okay, what else do they say? Got the 7 of Swords, kind of an interesting one, right? With the squawking bird. It's kind of like he's trying to be stealthy, but the bird is very loud. And so you don't have to hide who you are. Don't hide anything of who you are, especially to yourself. If you need to for survival, fine, but then use that as notification that you need to leave that environment at some point. Because you can't suppress the loud squawks of the bird forever. You got to live freely. Lots of balance, right? Look, she's got the, I don't know, water canister, is it? Or handbag? I'm not too sure. She's got the soul bubble, I'm going to say. I don't know what this is. Soul bubble, there's these moons here, crescent, and also a full, which shines a light on what is not needed, right? Or what is being hidden. Sometimes the hidden stuff is for our own safety because we hide it. And sometimes it's like we can't hide it and it needs to come out. Balanced and balance. Temperance is like moderation, right? Usually. I'm gonna add this in, you add that in, someone else adds this in, and then we create something together. And creation is really important here. Maybe artwork, maybe your hobbies, career, whatever, with like-minded people, all that kind of stuff could be coming through. You might even want to learn something new. You might be also a teacher who's teaching people. So there's a lot here, but overall it's to clean the slate. A cleanse of your house and physical aura might be something to do. I'm getting an idea of like a feather duster. I know it sounds really weird, but like you could just use a feather from outside. A feather will turn up if you ask for it, that you could use, or a feather duster, and just utilize that and fluff up the aura, so to speak. Sorry, my cat is meowing because she has forgotten that she's already been fed. Silly girl. But she's just coming in, I think, to say hello as well. Friendly fur friends. Got a few cards with some wings as well. A couple of cards here, and she has wings. And I would say that is to not limit yourself. Oh yeah, the bird's here too. Not to limit yourself. Like, all this is coming through to be free. To be free, open to who you are, let yourself be loved and love, right? To be open, completely open. And it's tricky in this world, but there's no benefit to closing off and shutting down. So we just go inwards and inwards and inwards until we're like a hard little walnut. And if you try to open up a walnut shell, it's not easy. But when it does, it crumbles. Basically, it breaks. So anyway, I hope this has helped. I don't know what else to say other than this is a really nice reading. Overall, it kind of is a whole lot of different messages depending on where you're at and who you are. I'm getting sense of like love and creation and life, right? So that could be romance, could be like connecting with people like-minded. Living freely and living authentically is super important in this reading, remembering who you are as a soul and letting your gifts come through without criticism or judgment from others or self. Okay, I'm going to leave that there. Thank you very much for letting me read for you today, pile number 3. I really hope this has helped. I know it was a short, sweet reading, but a lovely message nonetheless from the beautiful Lady Nada. So take care, look after yourself, and I'll see you next time.